Hi, I'm Dr. Claire Lynch of the Doris and Bertie Writing School, and I'm on a mission to help you become a better, more confident writer. Today on the channel, imply and infer. What do they mean and what's the difference? Well, the first thing to say is that many people often use these two words interchangeably. So often, in fact, that the language may be changing, such that imply and infer may become accepted as full synonyms at some point in the future. But for the time being, careful readers and careful writers will always observe the difference. So let's take a look at that difference. Imply and infer are often confused because they're really two sides of the same coin. Imply means to communicate an idea or feeling without saying it directly. Infer means to form an idea or feeling, again, indirectly from what someone has said or done. For example, Alice says, "Those oysters look nice." Alice maybe implies, intentionally or not, that she'd like some of those oysters. Billy says, "Are you implying you'd like some?" Here, Billy infers that Alice would indeed like some oysters. She forms the opinion that Alice likes some oysters, but not on the basis of a direct request from Alice. Let's say Alice responds, "Yes, please, but I wouldn't want you to infer that I'm greedy." So Alice is using infer correctly there. She does want some oysters, but doesn't want B to get the impression that she's greedy. So a simple way to think of the difference between imply and infer is to remember that we imply something by what we say or do. We infer something from what someone else says or does. Let's take a look at another example, this time a written example instead of spoken. Jo started work immediately, which implied she was excited by the project. Her boss inferred from Jo's excitement she'd found the previous project rather dull. So can you see the difference? Now, here's a piece of advice that I think will help you pick the right word most, maybe not all, but definitely most of the time. When people confuse imply and infer, it's usually because they're using the word infer when they really mean imply. It never, I don't think, happens the other way round. So my advice is simply to avoid the word infer altogether unless you're absolutely sure you're using it correctly, and to always use imply, except when you're clearly talking about making an inference, assumption, or interpretation. In that case, feel free to use infer. I'm Dr. Claire Lynch of Doris and Bertie. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps to get the channel noticed. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And of course, share this video with your friends and colleagues.